Standing by. Standing by. Guys, we just saw a successful pit right there. We're on Rosecrans, East Rosecrans in the Compton area. And as we come around here, oh my goodness, look at this guy just passing by all those patrol vehicles right there. Now making a southbound turn from Rosecrans on Culver. This is a pursuit that has been going on now for at least the last 30 minutes. He is wanted on reckless driving, and they have said that they have observed this individual inhaling possibly nitrous oxide inside this pickup truck that they are focused on right now. This is a pursuit that has taken us very peculiarly up and down Rosecrans, back and forth, east on Rosecrans, west on Rosecrans, and then he goes into residential areas and then back on the Rosecrans again. And so it has been a relatively slow speed pursuit at this point in time, not really making it much past 40 miles per hour or so. They have, I believe, had a successful pit maneuver on this, and a spike strip as well. So that is where we are at right now. He is now westbound on Elm Street. Right, he has stopped and then proceeded and stopped, perhaps maybe playing a sort of a cat and mouse game, not really knowing where he's going possibly. Really hard to tell what his instincts are at this particular time, other than to just drive that pickup truck through various residential areas. It's not even clear whether or not you know, he's really making a good attempt to get away from law enforcement at this point. He is, again, appears to be under the influence, quite possibly. They have observed him inhaling what they believe is nitrous oxide, so that could possibly explain the behavior, the erratic behavior that we have seen thus far in this pursuit as we were just pulling up. No, it has not been a high-speed pursuit. It has been, as I said, pretty much relegated to not much more than about 40 miles per hour. And he does appear to stop at stop signs from time to time, and then there are times where he will not stop at stop signs. So a very, very bizarre type of pursuit that we have seen thus far. We just pulled up right as you were coming to us, and when we were seeing that successful pit maneuver, but you saw what we saw, and that was he just basically shook it off and then proceeded right on past those patrol vehicles. And I have counted, as soon as we pulled over, as many as 6 patrol vehicles behind him thus far. Well, we were listening to the scanner on our way to the pursuit, and there have been periods of time where they did actually back off the pursuit and observe from the air. But because of the hazard that I believe he was posing, now here he is pulling over right now. You have officers now getting out of their vehicles, felony car stop right now, and let's see what happens here. And he's just going to pull right on off. That's exactly what we've been hearing throughout much of this pursuit is kind of a cat and mouse type game where he will stop and lure them in and then proceed on. Gotcha. Yeah, he has run into a dead end here, and let's see what he does here. And you see a balloon, and that is clearly what he's been inhaling, that product. And now he's rolling up the window. And so far, we have seen only one individual inside here, and we have not seen any other individuals. At least that's not what's being reported over the scanners so far, is that there is only one individual in there. And so very, very bizarre, chaotic behavior by this driver as he continues to inhale whatever product that is, nitrous oxide or otherwise, out of that balloon. And I'm fairly certain that they've got him into a situation here where they're going to box him in. They're out of their vehicles right now, guns drawn and trained on him and his pickup truck at this particular time. But he is boxed in. There's just nowhere for him to go at this point. I'm sorry, Michael, say that again. Right. This is a storm channel right here. We're at the very end of Poplar Street, near Wilmington Avenue. I would agree with you. This is a very robust response by Compton Sheriff here, and we've seen these types of situations here where an individual will just close the window, lock themselves in, and will not get out of the vehicle. And so what happens next really is if it transitions into a standoff situation, they will call in the Special Enforcement Bureau, the SEB, their SWAT, their version of SWAT, and bring them in, and they will do what they need to do to try and mitigate the situation. But in the meantime, as they're waiting for SEB, they will try and talk this individual out and convince him that there's absolutely nowhere for him to go, and that he should just peacefully open up the door and with his hands up and comply with the orders of deputies there. Well, as soon as they can get units in place, it looks like they're going to pull up a little bit and make sure that they box them in. But what they will do is as soon as they get units situated, they will have a deputy go in and make sure that individuals that are in their house, that they shelter in place, that nobody comes out. They'll shut down the street. They probably have already done that at the beginning of Poplar to make sure no additional traffic is coming in. But they will definitely make sure everybody stays in their home. And so for individuals that are watching this right now, if you live in this area or on Poplar, because we know that he could pop out of that truck and go run on foot at any given time, we want to make sure that all windows are shut, doors are shut, and that people stay inside their homes at this particular time. Yeah, there quite possibly could be a school in this area. I didn't catch that, but essentially, and my pilot is nodding his head right now, that there is in fact a school in this area. They will make sure that that school is on lockdown and make sure that none of the children are in harm's way. It looks like he's got his hands out the window right now, and they've got him at gunpoint right now. I'm just going to keep a medium shot right now in case something doesn't go as planned. But he does have he is putting his hands out the window, and I don't think he's necessarily complying. He may be just having some sort of interface with deputies behind him as they try and talk him into getting out of that pickup truck and complying with their orders. Now, he just threw something out. It's unclear exactly what that is, but again, I'll try and push in here just a little bit, and I'll pull out, you know, if things don't look like they're going well. But he just, let's see if we can see what that. Yeah, it's hard to tell exactly what that is. It looked like something kind of flat. Didn't look like keys necessarily, so. Okay, what I would characterize this as right now, it's just a classic felony car stop. Their posture right now is one in which they're on guard right now for any eventuality, anything that could possibly take place. They've got their guns out. They focused on him in the event that you know, he just does not comply the way that he should comply with them. I did hear earlier radio traffic that there is a K-9 unit that may be part of this contingency here of patrol vehicles, but I thus far have not seen a K-9 brought out just yet. But as we watch this unfold right now, a typical felony car stop, if you can call it typical, because nothing really that they do is typical or normal in any way, shape, and form. It's a very dynamic situation. Every situation is going to dictate something differently. So they are just getting into position and making sure that they have all the areas where this individual could possibly escape completely blocked off. And in the event that he has something in his hand, like a gun or something like that, they've got the complete perimeter around his pickup truck completely covered. That definitely looks like a less than lethal weapon that they have right there. So they have a number of different tools at their disposal right now. They've got plenty of deputies in place. As I said before, they've got possibly a K-9 unit that is part of this package, this pursuit package here. So they should, for all intents and purposes, have it completely covered. Now, I don't know if he's smoking something or what. I see a little bit of puff of smoke coming out the back slider window of that pickup truck. So it's really unclear if he's just smoking something. I'll see if I can zoom in here a little bit and see if he's smoking a cigarette or something like that. But he just seems, his posture right now just seems very carefree, very relaxed. And right now it's just really to the advantage of the deputies right now. It's a waiting game right now. The time is on their side. They can wait this individual out until he gets out, They know they've got a number of different tools at their disposal. They have possibly a K-9 unit that is on the scene. And if this standoff continues, of course, they will have the assistance of their Special Enforcement Bureau. Yeah, absolutely. He could be a landscaper of some type, or someone or a homeowner just doing some work. Really unclear, but definitely at this point, very chaotic, very strange behavior on his part. And as someone who's been a paramedic for 18 years, I can vouch for bizarre behavior for someone who might be inhaling nitrous oxide. They are going to act quite chaotically, not really making any sense, perhaps speaking in terms completely not cogent at any point. So it'd be interesting to find out here what exactly for sure he's under the influence of, if it's nitrous oxide or some other product. Yeah, he certainly should be. He's leaning over right now. That makes me a little bit nervous because he's reaching around for different things, that sort of thing, and that's never good. He should really be complying with their orders and keeping his hands where they can see them. It just, we've seen so many of these things where they don't bode well for an individual who's reaching around in their truck for things, and we don't know whether this individual is armed or unarmed. We just don't know at this point. So, we just saw 3 officers with LAPD last night who were shot, and, so they come across situations that they can't quite possibly plan for. They can train for these things, and that is quite possibly what saved the lives of those officers last night, but you just can't anticipate every single possibility. I'm sorry, Carolyn, say that again? Let's see, we'll push in here. It doesn't look like any of the glass in the back has been penetrated at all. And here they are, they're making an approach. They just threw something in. So they're going to smoke him out at this point. I doubt he's going to be rolling his window down at all at this particular time. Okay. Yeah, it definitely looks that way. Now, yeah, that's going to be the only way that he's going to get any fresh air at this particular time. So we'll just see. It's like I said, it's the time is on their side at this particular point. They can wait him out. They can throw another, pepper ball or gas device inside that pickup truck and completely smoke him out until he, comes on out of there. Yeah, it definitely looks that way. And I don't mean to laugh at this like this is a funny situation, but I mean, it's just he's playing right into their hands, really. I mean, they tactically, that was genius to distract him on the driver's side and then sneak up on the passenger side and throw that in. So here he is. He seems to be kind of wiping his face and so forth, using his shirt to kind of wipe his face away. And still not complying and still being defiant of their orders. But we all know that that is going to take its toll at some point, and he's either going to have to comply or they're going to, get him out of there the hard way. But nonetheless, this standoff continues here as he continues to defy their orders to come out of the vehicle. And he's going to do what he can possibly do to try and evade or avoid having to get out of that pickup truck at this particular time. There we go. There's that second round right there. And so, oh yeah, it look. Oh wow. Yes. Go ahead, both. Yeah, can you guys hear me? Yeah, crazy. Just, this is one of the most bizarre things I've seen here. So at least he's got his hands up. He's not reaching for anything. He doesn't have anything in his hands right now. And from all indications, it seems like he knows, okay, I think he might be trying to comply with them to open that door from the outside and to get out of that pickup truck. But he's doing he's doing as best as he can to try and defy those orders, to try and hold out and try and sustain himself as two of those gas devices that they just threw inside there, I'm sure are permeating the entire inside of that pickup truck right now. His face has got to be burning. His eyes have got to be burning. He's coughing and so forth. I just don't know how much longer he's going to be able to take that. Yeah, it's definitely you can see that he's a little bit more animated right now. The gas is starting to get to him inside there. The good news, though, as I was saying before, is he does not have anything inside of his hands or anything, and he's got his hands out the window. You see deputies still here trying to move into position, so maybe they can kind of get him out of there. They still have those shields, and I think from all indications, it looks like they're trying to make sort of a quiet approach from maybe the passenger side, as he's again being distracted on the driver's side here. But Yeah, I'm not an expert on that, but I would definitely agree with you on that one, Carolyn, that this is a situation where they may not place the dog in that environment right now. And so as he tries to fight this off, he's doing the best that he can to not comply with their orders right now by hanging his head out the window and so forth, trying to sustain that gas as much as he can. And it's just it just surprises me that he's able to sustain that as long as he's doing. Yeah, he seems, I'm not going to say completely incapacitated, but he definitely, the gas devices that they threw in there definitely has, kind of put him on his heels, so to speak. And so this would seem like the perfect time to try and position some deputies to go in from the passenger side again. Of course, I'm not a law enforcement expert by any stretch of the imagination, but you would just think, just based on the fact that he is, as you said, Carolyn, just kind of incoherent right now and not really thinking about what he's doing, that they might be able to position to approach the vehicle from the passenger side. Right, yeah, and again, very bizarre behavior, and it's hard to tell because he's having some sort of verbal exchange with them. He could just be being animated, and so now he's rolling the window back up, and that is just, and now it's back down again. Yeah, that's it. Okay. Looks like they're making another approach. Looks like they're making another approach here. Oh, and so look at him. He's trying to ram their car. He's trying to push their car out of the way. Oh, this is about to get really interesting here. And they, from what I heard on the scanner, they had what I thought was a successful spike strip. So from what I can see from this side, those tires were completely intact, but not for long. Not for long. I just don't know how long we're going to be able to watch this. What they're going to do here. It's a very difficult situation. They've got this car right behind him to box him in, and he's just barely moving it. Of course, we saw that really crazy pursuit back in January, I believe it was, where the guy who was carjacking all the pickup trucks, he was able to push a police vehicle out of the way with a van and a pickup truck. So the weight of this vehicle, it's hard to know exactly what type of vehicle this is. It looks like a Ford, and I'm not sure how heavy it is, but he's not making much progress here at all. Yeah. But stranger things. Yes, go ahead. Okay. Okay. I copy that. Yeah, it almost seems as though as soon as those deputies, yes, can you hear me? Okay, it almost seems as though as soon as those deputies begin to approach and execute some sort of tactical move, he starts to hit the accelerator pedal to try and move out of the way. And of course, out of an abundance of safety, they begin to back on out and sort of reset or observe exactly what it is that he's going to do. And so this could go on for quite a while here as he begins to perhaps get a pulse on what their tactics are, if he is that coherent, if he's that lucid, that he understands that the minute that they start to approach, that he can affect their tactics or affect their movements by hitting that accelerator pedal. And so it's interesting to watch this unfold right now, and I'm wondering right now if they have dispatched the Special Enforcement Bureau, because we have seen these types of standoffs play off like this, and they generally have a lot more tools in their toolbox and tactics that they can execute, not withstanding these great deputies that are doing a fine job, from what I can tell, out here on in the scene right now. Basically, they will have a lot more tools and tactics that they can bring to the fight, so to speak, to try and get this individual out. Wow. I almost think that they may have thrown another canister in there, and he threw it right out. I don't exactly know. From all indications, it looked like it could have been another gas canister. I think it's up underneath that tumbleweed right now, but I could not make out exactly what it was. I would have thought that another gas device would have been smoking or something like that, but whatever it is that they threw in, it looks like he threw it right on out the window. Yeah, he seems very agitated right now, so I'm not quite sure what they go to at this particular point. I'm sure they're trying to negotiate with him and talk him out of there, but he is being very non-compliant, obviously, and defiant right now, not wanting to get out of that truck. But I think we know that one way or another, he's going to come out of there. And as was just discussed about the SCB, yes, that there definitely has to be some criteria that are in place for that would trigger that type of response. I'm not quite up to speed on what those criteria are that would activate them. But suffice to say, I think we have all watched a number of these pursuits enough to know that an extended or protracted standoff, as this is becoming, at some point usually triggers the SCB or a tactical team to come in and try and mitigate the situation. Yeah. Yeah. It is significant, and so, and I'm just going to pan to the left here a little bit. So there's your answer to what's on the other side, too. So they've got this situation completely surrounded. Even if he were to jump out of that truck and run across that pedestrian bridge, they're going to be waiting with handcuffs over on the other side. You want to stay with that shot? Okay. Yeah. Not that I've been able to see so far. We'll swing over to the left here a little bit and see what he may have been referencing. I've been kind of watching his behavior also, and it would stand to reason, especially if he's under the influence of something, he may be just talking to himself. He may just be being animated and that sort of thing. The other observation that Eric and he made a number of great observations. You can see now he's trying to back up again, and that's going to put deputies in sort of a defensive posture here. They're going to make sure that they're positioned in the event that that pickup truck is able to move any of those patrol vehicles, that they're out of the way and keep their deputies safe. But one of the things I did notice as Eric was making various observations was there appears to be either a two-striper or a three-striper. A three-striper would be a sergeant down there, and he was on the phone. So it just goes to show really, how coordinated this is. He's in touch with his chain of command, no doubt, and making sure that he reports very closely all the things that are going on, documenting everything that's happening. And we talked earlier about what are the trigger points, what are the things that would activate an SCB response or some other tactical team that would come in here and try and mitigate this situation. certainly by him talking on the phone, coordinating with his chain of command, those are the kinds of that's the kind of intel that he's feeding to them that will help them make those decisions. Right. You know, maybe a vape pen and a canister of some sort of product. You know, we had heard some discussion about nitrous oxide. We can't confirm that's exactly what he may be inhaling, but the scanner traffic that we heard on the way to the pursuit, the deputy had said that he's inhaling something inside that vehicle. So it stands to reason that he quite possibly, quite probably, is under the influence of some sort of product and acting in a very bizarre behavior. And that is perhaps probably more illustrated by his back and forth on Rosecrans Boulevard. I don't know if this individual is from this area or not, but as he was being pursued, he was staying pretty close to Rosecrans Boulevard, driving somewhat erratically, but slowly, and going back and forth between Paramount and Compton. And so, yet again, here he is back in the Compton area. No, talking to somebody else. Aldo. "35-minute stuff." Everybody else leave. Everybody else leave. Okay. No, he shook it off pretty good. 30 minutes. No. No, I don't. Yeah, and as Eric pointed out, it's kind of hard to anticipate what might be going on. But I'll tell you, it definitely seems like they have some sort of strategy in place by moving that family out of there. It would seem that that is an indication that this thing is going to ramp up perhaps another level. Now, what that level is, I don't know, but just earlier, for about 45 minutes, we saw that family basically inside their house, sheltered in place, and then suddenly the deputies go and remove them from there. So that could indicate a number of different things, that they're changing their tactics, changing what their strategy is going to be on this, and how they handle this. I have not, I'll pull out just briefly here to see if there's any indication of any tactical teams or SEB or anything like that. I don't yet see a Bearcat or anything like that that has arrived on scene. So perhaps as we've been talking about this thing, and maybe it just has not hit that trigger point for them to want to activate them and have them respond to this incident. And we talked earlier about a canine situation. And again, it seems like perhaps this is not the situation that they want to deploy that dog exactly yet, for whatever reason also. So it's anybody's guess at this point what's next and what they're going to do. And but it certainly seems like they are getting in a position to do something. It certainly would appear that they're either going to tell them to go back inside or have them come out. It looks like maybe they're having these people also evacuate their home. It's hard to tell right now. They're having some sort of exchange right now. Yeah, definitely looks that way. And so, you might portend from what we're seeing right now that, again, the tactics are about to change, and that, this incident is about to change its characteristics in some way, shape, or form, and trying to get some sense of resolution of this. It looks like that deputy's going in to get more people out of that house. Right, and it's unclear exactly how far they're going to go with this. I'm going to pull out of the shot just a little bit to see if there are any other homes that appear to be being evacuated right now. I don't see any deputies knocking on doors or anything like that, but perhaps just these two homes right now are the affected homes that they want to make sure that out of an abundance of caution that they don't want anybody in harm's way. It sure seems to be. Not as frequent as it was before. He just seems to be very content inhaling off of his bottle of whatever it is that's inside that container right there. He's using his vaping pen and so forth. And, you know, he just seems very relaxed right now, like he has no worries whatsoever. But I would agree with what Eric was saying, is this just by the posture of the deputies and the fact that they evacuated a couple of these homes would suggest to me, as I was saying earlier, that there's going to be a change in tactics, a change in the strategy here, and that they could quite possibly be waiting for some other response personnel to arrive on scene. Perhaps they're going to try and negotiate more with this individual and wait him out. It's really unclear. It can go in a lot of different directions, obviously, but that to me was a very glaring, that they, after all this time, that they would evacuate those two homes, because we've been sitting here now for, well, close to an hour, perhaps maybe a little bit more than an hour, and well, my pilot is saying more than an hour, and you know, we're just now seeing those homes evacuated. So again, that would suggest to me that something is about to change, quite possibly, or that they're going to dig in their heels, negotiate with this individual, and try and arrive at some very calm and peaceful solution to the situation. Yeah, I don't see any indication of one just yet. But what we have. Right. Carolyn, it's a great observation, and you know, they may be just trying to make room for their D platoon or their SEB, their SWAT team, to come in and to position into place. That's a very good possibility of what they're doing. But again, like we've been saying, it looks like there is going to be a shift in tactics or strategy here as they move vehicles around, as they evacuate these two homes right here. And you know, we saw the field sergeant on the phone there, talking to the chain of command and so forth, feeding information and intelligence of what's going on to all the individuals that need to be in the loop. And so it would certainly stand to reason that something is about to shift here. Yeah. How are we doing with fuel? Okay. Give me a pre-wire B so I can let them know. Okay. Okay. Right.
I have eyes on it. Okay, cool, I have it. It's about, the scene is about our 11 o'clock. Becoming 10. Yep, right here, 10 o'clock. Michael, this is our first chance looking at this from our secondary helicopter here. Roland Spruill, of course, was on this pursuit the entire time and just departed for fuel. So this has been our first opportunity in our secondary helicopter to look at this very active scene. What you see here is that pursuit vehicle. Looks like a Ford truck. It's got some things there in the back. Looks like wood to me from this vantage point. And as I use my doubler here, I just want to look at the driver. Want to be able to see what his behavior looks like at this point. You can see that he's wearing a t-shirt, moving around a lot. When we get to the driver's side window, it does look like it's down, so we'll be able to take an even closer look. But while we bring things around here, let me widen out the shot and show you what the street looks like. This, of course, is going to be a residential street here in Compton. That is going to be Poplar Street, and this is going to be the Compton Creek, I believe is what it's called. It's just a wash area here. And the driver, you can see, is basically at a dead end. He can't proceed any more forward. So at this point, he is just stuck and still trying to figure out what he's going to do, how he's going to get out of this situation. But it looks like he does have what looks to be some sort of gas canister of some sort in his hands. And again, the only person in this vehicle, this is the LA County Sheriff's Department that is directly behind him. You can see it there by just reading the door. That's how we are able to figure out who the agency is on this one. And as I'm, go ahead. Yeah, here it is. Here's the Sheriff's Bearcat. So this is going to be the Special Enforcement Bureau. It's equivalent to a SWAT team, but it's called SEB when it comes to the Sheriff's Department. And normally we wouldn't be able to show you these types of tactical operations, but because the guy is in a vehicle, he can clearly see all of the members of the SCB team, and so that's why we feel comfortable showing you that Sheriff's Bearcat. But let me widen out the shot a little bit more. I just want to give you the big picture here. Again, this is Poplar Street. It's a small residential street. This bigger street that you see that I'm zooming in on now, that's going to be Wilmington Avenue. Now, that's normally a very busy street here through the area that's going to be completely shut down due to all of this police activity. And here's another Bearcat belonging to the Sheriff's SCB team, the Special Enforcement Bureau, that is now making its way to the scene. Copy. Go ahead, Tim. Okay, copy that. Copy that. Hey Tim, and since I'm in LW, I have to. I can only listen to one radio at a time. I just have to switch, so I would have to stop listening to NBC to listen to Telemundo. Hey Tim, I do hear Telemundo though on that IFB. I just checked, but I just need to be. I just have to switch back and forth. Oh, okay. Okay, I'm on Telemundo. I gotcha. Okay, perfect. Sí hemos visto movimiento del equipo llamado el Special Enforcement Bureau del Departamento del Alguacil del Condado de Los Ángeles. Como pueden ver, son estos oficiales que están justo detrás del vehículo que está involucrado en esta persecución. Ven ahí el carro blanco que está al final de la calle Poplar, donde se junta con la calle Wilmington en el área de Compton. Como pueden ver, ahí está el conductor todavía sentado en el asiento detrás del volante y es la única persona adentro del vehículo. El departamento del alguacil ha estado detrás de este vehículo por más de 2 horas porque es una persecución que empezó aproximadamente a la 1 de la tarde y continuó aquí en las calles de Compton hasta que finalmente el carro terminó aquí al final de la calle y no puede continuar, claro, porque como pueden ver la calle ahí termina, pero esta es una área residencial, como pueden ver hay casas y apartamentos en ambos lados de la calle Poplar, pero lo que les quiero mostrar ahora es la calle Wilmington, que es la calle grande que corre aquí por el área, que como pueden ver va a estar cerrada en ambas direcciones, mientras el departamento del alguacil continúa tratando de detener al hombre que empezó esta persecución hace más de 2 horas aquí en el área de Compton. Nosotros seguiremos sobre la escena aquí en el helicóptero, pero por ahora yo soy Eliana Moreno del Mundo 52. Okay, back in English, guys. Back on NBC. So yeah, just let me know if you need me to switch back and forth. Stephanie, I gotcha. Go ahead. Yep. Yeah, and that is the Bearcat belonging to the Sheriff's Special Enforcement Bureau. So that's equivalent to a SWAT team. So this is one of 2 Bearcats that is now on Poplar Street. This is the one that is closest to the pursuit vehicle. Let me move the shot over. I want to show you the secondary SWAT vehicle there, or SCB vehicle there rather. Now, normally in these types of situations, the Bearcats will take the place of the patrol units that are on scene. So I wouldn't be surprised if that sheriff's unit, that black and white, is somehow moved out of the way to get the SCB vehicle directly behind the suspect's car, which remains here at the end of Poplar Street. And when Roland Sproul was overhead in our primary helicopter, it did look like the driver tried to get out of this situation, but the vehicle simply couldn't go anywhere. So for that reason, we believe that it simply is not going to move anymore at this point. Of course, sheriff's deputies can lay spike strips in front of the car just in case it were able to move. It would, of course, start to slowly deflate those tires. But for now, it looks like this driver is stuck and pretty much just hanging out here. Inside of the vehicle. You see his hand there just hanging outside of the window. The window is down. He's the only person in the car, and from time to time we will see him reach for a blue gas canister of some sort that it does look like he is inhaling from. So again, it's unclear what that substance may be, but clearly he has no intention of getting out of the car, because they have made multiple announcements to him from the sheriff's vehicles in both Spanish and English, and that's just standard protocol just in case it is a language barrier, and they're telling him to throw the keys out of the car and step out of the vehicle, but at this point he is continuing to refuse to exit. Yeah, gearing up there on the back of the SCB vehicle, you can see that they have both lethal and less than lethal weapons on them. And typically what they do in these types of situations is they will form a group of the members of the SCB and then use a shield as protection as they approach the vehicle. And sometimes they will just yank the driver out, depending on how dangerous they think this person may be. They may just be able to go right up to him and pull him out of the car. But of course, if there's the possibility that he could in any way be armed, then they're going to have to be even more careful about how they approach this. They, of course, can throw gas in the vehicle if they want, but unfortunately in this case, it may not actually work because his windows are down, and ideally in those types of situations when you throw gas in, you would want the vehicle to be completely enclosed so that that gas would be irritant and the driver would no longer be able to withstand the gas and would simply exit in an effort to get fresh air. So that's a possibility there. Of course, they could also deploy a canine officer, so they could throw the dog and have the dog try to yank the driver out of the car as well. So they have options, and the good thing is that they have time on their side, because at this point there really isn't a threat to anybody else. It's not a hostage situation. There's nobody else in the vehicle with him, so they simply can wait this guy out until he decides to get out of the vehicle, or they can make some effort to get him out of the car. Yes. On Wilmington. That one? Right there? Oh, yeah, I see what you mean. I'll try. Yeah, I'll try to get a name on it. Cool. I'll look at my map. Oh, it's a middle school. Kathy, we've only seen him moving around the vehicle itself and often reaching for what we believe may be a canister of NOS, nitrous oxide. And every now and then he does take a hit from that, but he isn't making any effort whatsoever to get out of the vehicle or to throw the keys out. He has on occasion thrown out a few items, but look at this. This is the first time that I've seen him like fully hanging out of the vehicle like this. Normally he's just had one hand hanging out. So hopefully it is in an effort to start to make his way out of the vehicle, because the Sheriff's Department would really love to bring this to a peaceful end, because in spite of it being a lengthy pursuit, there really weren't any collisions and no one was hurt. So that's a good thing in all of this. But where we're at is Poplar Street. It's a small residential street that dead ends at the wash there here in Compton, and the major street that runs here through the area is going to be Wilmington, so I wanted to show you that. And my pilot, James Pollard, actually noted that there's a school nearby, so I wanted to get you the name of that school here if we can. I'll work on getting you that, but I know that it's a middle school that is located just off of Wilmington and Compton. So it's unclear if, or Poplar rather, it's unclear if all of the students have let out for the day. It does look like the lots on the campus are pretty empty, so hopefully all of the students are gone. But if you are picking up your student from this school, you're definitely going to want to avoid Wilmington, because it's still going to be completely shut down while the Sheriff's Department continues their efforts to take this man into custody. Yeah, absolutely. You see the members of the Sheriff's SCB team gathered there behind the vehicle, the Bearcat, and these are going to be highly trained deputies with the Sheriff's Department who get special credentials to be on the SCB team. So this is really the best of the best, and that's who you have here on scene, trying to negotiate with this man to get him to come out willingly. But of course, he may be under the influence, because again, we see him taking hit after hit from this gas canister. So it's unclear what his state of mind may be at this point, if it even makes sense what they're telling him to do. And of course, they're making multiple announcements. They're making it in multiple languages to leave no shadow of the doubt that he understands what is being told to him. But for now, he's just continuing to sit here. But as you were saying, the SCB members can gather. They can use a shield to protect their bodies as they approach the vehicle and try to get this man out forcefully. They, of course, can call on a police K-9 to yank the man out of the vehicle, or they could try deploying gas, something like OC spray or even pepper ball rounds into the vehicle. But really what's against them in this point is that the windows on the vehicle are down. So even if they do throw gas in there, it would be quite easy for him to still get fresh air, which is really the only thing that would make him exit the vehicle once that starts to irritate him. Absolutely. This could be a situation where they're waiting for a crisis negotiator, or sometimes they're even waiting to pre-record a family member, like let's say his mother or a girlfriend or even a sister or brother, get them to record a message for this man asking him to peacefully surrender. Sometimes that's what really tugs at the heartstrings for these individuals and gets them to surrender. We covered a pursuit just last week where the driver in a pursuit wanted to see and talk to his mom before he surrendered to officers. So that's exactly what he did. He spoke to her and then surrendered. So sometimes that's really all it takes, is that connection with a family member, and when they hear that family member's voice, that is what convinces them to surrender. So it could be a situation where they're recording that message, especially since the family is on scene. It wouldn't be difficult to do, or they could just be trying to get another crisis negotiator to come out here, or perhaps somebody who specializes in the condition that this man may be suffering from based off of the interviews with the family. Yeah, very fidgety is what we notice, and it could be the effects of whatever it is that he's inhaling. But then again, he fidgets a lot and then is just very calm. So it's really difficult to tell what he may be thinking, if he's even able to process anything based off of what that substance is. But he's basically just hanging out. As you said, the officers or deputies that he could see before, he can't see them anymore because they are now off in this yard. Those are the regular uniformed sheriff's deputies, and the other deputies that we see here are members of the SCB team, and they're blocked by the Bearcat. So it's really difficult to tell if he can even see them from his angle now. But once again, reaching for that canister of NOS and just taking hit after hit. And the good thing in all of this is that nobody else is in the car with him. There were no collisions during the pursuit, so nobody else got hurt. At this point, it's just a waiting game to see when this man will decide to surrender. Yeah, absolutely. The good thing is that they can take their time, because if he's the only person in the vehicle, it's not a situation where there's a victim, and so they can just wait this guy out. Eventually, he's gonna get hungry, he's gonna get sleepy, and that may be the time that he decides, okay, I'm out. But then again, he may not even be conscious of what is going on because of that substance that he's on. So deputies really do have time on their side. They can really slow things down, and they can wait him out all day if they have to, if that is going to be the safest way to get him out of the vehicle. As we noted before, the nearby residents have been evacuated, so they're no longer in the equation. So really, there's at this point no threat to the public. The good thing is that even if he tried to go forward, if he could go forward, he would land right in the wash. So at this point, no threat to the Compton community, and all the deputies are really trying to do at this point is get this man out of the vehicle and get him the help that he needs. Yeah, we're here. Okay. Yeah, I hear you. Copy. NOC, we lost IFB. NOC from the chopper, we lost it. KMBC IFB. Got it, thank you. Colleen, at this point they're saying that it's unclear how long this will be taking place here in this normally quiet Compton neighborhood just off of Poplar and Wilmington. And the reason being is that they can't get this guy to budge. You see him there sitting in the driver's seat. He just threw on his jacket. And that's really some of the biggest emotions we've seen him make, because this whole time he's just been sitting there looking out his mirror and inhaling whatever substance is in that blue tank that he has in the passenger seat. But again, this all started as an incident where he was spotted driving recklessly by an LA County Sheriff's deputy in the Compton area at about 1 o'clock. And it was a chase that was, for the most part, on surface streets. It was driving at high speeds, driving recklessly, of course, which was the reason he was wanted for initially. And then he got to this dead end here at Poplar Street next to the Compton Wash and west of Wilmington Avenue, and that is where he has been ever since. And of course, the residents of this neighborhood have been evacuated. That's the latest from Compton. Let's send it back down to you in the studio. And I see from the chopper, can you check our signal? Back arrow is 274. Okay, out into the window. Clear from MBC, hot onto the window. Copy that, Tim. Thank you. Copy. Copy that. And he's out. And he's on the run. And he's down. Colleen, and the man who led the Sheriff's Department on a lengthy chase as well as a standoff here in Compton is finally now in custody. You see him there in that blue t-shirt, and it all happened so quick within the last minute. What they did was they brought in a drone. The drone distracted the pursuit driver, and during that time, that is when a team of sheriff's deputies approached from the rear, threw in gas into the vehicle, and that is what finally got the driver to come out. He was overwhelmed by the gas that they put in the vehicle that he got out of the car and made a run for it. Incredibly, tried to still run away, but of course the sheriff's deputies had this place completely surrounded and were able to quickly take him into custody without further incident. Again, all of this happening here in Compton, Poplar Street and Wilmington Avenue. Thanks, guys. Yeah. running. Oh, this is going to be close.
To watch more heart-stopping car chases happening across Southern California, subscribe here. Thanks for watching. The chase is on.